If you're using Ozempic or another GLP-1 medication, there is one thing you need to do to protect your vision. In the last couple days, we've seen new information come out about potential vision loss related to these medications. And this new study out of Canada does have some concerning things that you're going to want to hear about. I am a board-certified eye surgeon, and so I can explain what's going on with these medications. Ozempic and GLP-1s have been miracle drugs for things like diabetes, weight loss, and heart disease. But as we're learning more about these medications, we are finding that there might be some side effects related to your vision and the potential for sudden vision loss in some cases with these medications. Here's the real information. The study came out last week, and there was an accompanying editorial written by one of my mentors, Dr. Brian Vanderbeek. And in it, he basically says that the risk of vision loss with these medications may in fact be correct. There might be a real risk, but there are a lot of benefits to these medications. It doesn't mean you just necessarily stop taking them. What's the one thing you can do to try to protect yourself? Well, the study in Canada basically showed that you might have risk for something called wet macular degeneration if you are on one of these medications. It might increase your risk of that. What's wet macular degeneration? If you have a family history of something called macular degeneration, there is a potential for something called the wet version, which is essentially where you get bleeding in the retina and all of a sudden you can't see. There was another study the last couple of years that showed a different kind of sudden vision loss that might occur with these medications. What do you need to do? The number one thing I would recommend if you are on one of these medications is to get a dilated eye exam from a board-certified ophthalmologist, because you want them to look at your retina and look for something called a disc at risk, which is a small optic nerve that might predispose you to one of those other side effects, or you want them to look for signs of macular degeneration. Because if you already have macular degeneration, you need to weigh the risks of whether you should be on these medications, and in case they could increase your risk of converting over to the one that has real vision loss potential, which is called wet macular degeneration. That's the one thing I would do if you're on these medications to see if you can prevent some of the possibilities of vision loss with Ozempic and the other GLP-1s.